We know it's like discussion. We know the next 3 months.
Okay, it is free.
Maybe that.
Good evening, class.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Prof.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening.
Okay. So my name is Professor Boatin, and for those of you who are meeting me for the first time, you are welcome to Strategy for Business Analytics. And this is the third group, if I'm right. We have had the first group, the second group, and then the fourth and fifth group. Now we have the third group. And you seem to be about 47. I don't know whether that's the actual number or we have people floating from other days to this one. Are you also assigned to group 3, or some of you don't? You're not sure of your group, so you're joining this one for now.
Group 3,
Yeah,
please.
I guess this is group 4.
Hey, this is not group 4. This is
No, there's 3.
group 3. Look at the timetable. Group 4 and 5 are taught by Professor Ifak. Met them on Tuesday. I met them on Tuesday. So the person calling this one group 4, it seems you are. But don't worry, you can join this one. Don't have a problem. So join the test. Just join the Thursday group, whichever one will work for you. Because right now it looks like a lot of confusion for some of you. So I was even telling their previous teams classes that maybe what I'll do is that after about the 4th week, we'll have stability. So then I'll send a sheet around to be able to actually map people who have actually signed for which group. Because whatever they were assigned for, some of them have collapsed it. Some of them they didn't fit their timetable, their work life. So we needed to move around. And some of them were just confused. Some of them too not even categorize any group in the first round of sharing of the groups. So whatever it is, just sit in a class and start learning. You have already paid your school fees. So I hope that's okay.
Yes, Prof.
Okay. We have to interact though. If you don't interact, me, I can't teach you. Okay, so what we are going to do today is to delve into our session on analyze the business environment. That's the first thing. But before we do that, I told you the day we met and I introduced you to the course that I tend to teach with a project in mind. So from the beginning of the program, I tell you the project we'll be working on, that will be divided into groups, and you'll be doing designing a strategic solution for that company at the end of the semester. So this year, last year we had a strategy for business challenge cup, which featured a hospital or healthcare company that was going through some challenges and needed advice on how to be able to manage its internal strategy and then align it to the data that will concerns the educational resources and then define a very good solution for it to become sustainable. This year we are looking at another agribusiness export company based in the eastern region. So I'll take you through the case study and then I'll outline what you'll be doing by the end of the case. And every time you are studying as I teach you the management concepts in strategic management and relate it to data, I'll be using GH Fresh or GH Ghana Fresh as the case study so that we can be able to have a contextual understanding of the concepts that we are learning. Okay, so can I have a volunteer to read what we have here? Can I have a volunteer to read it for us?
Doc, I can read, please.
Oh, Jennifer, thank you very much.
Hello. Yes,
Jennifer.
yes, Doc.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
The Keystone Project, your 12-month analytics strategy for Ghana Fresh. The organization, Ghana Fresh Limited. Ghana Fresh is a mid-sized, family-owned agribusiness based in the eastern region of Ghana, specializing in exporting pineapples and mangoes, led by founder Ikua Mensah. The company operates in a highly competitive global supply chain where quality, consistency, and cost control are paramount to survival and growth. The core challenge, value leakage and decision uncertainty. Despite growing sales volume, Ghana Fresh faces three critical interlinked challenges that erode profitability and threaten long-term competitive advantage. One, high post-harvest losses, 20 to 30%. A significant portion of harvested fruit is lost and downgraded due to spoilage between the field and the port. This massive value leakage is caused by unpredictable harvest timing, delays in field to pack house transfer, and inconsistencies in the cold chain. This is a massive cost of delay for the business. Two, unpredictable and rising logistic costs. The cost of refrigerated shipping and overland transport is highly variable. Without predictable cost, Ikea Mensa struggles to negotiate firm, profitable forward contracts with major European retail buyers, increasing business risk. Three, untapped local market potential. The company has a growing but inefficient local packaged products line, juices and dried fruits. Decisions regarding product mix and inventory are currently based on intuition, leading to high packaged product inventory waste. That's stock out or excess inventory and inconsistent profits. Your mission, the 12-month analytics strategy roadmap. Your mission is to develop a 12-month analytics strategy and implementation roadmap that strategically applies the course frameworks to transition Ghana Fresh from relying on intuition and historical reports to making predictive, data-driven decisions. The strategy must demonstrate how a focused investment will deliver a measurable economic value creation, primarily by decreasing cost and increasing willingness to pay. Project focus areas and strategic narrative. Your final deliverable must tell a cohesive story across the following phases, demonstrating fluency in both strategy and execution. Doc.
Yeah, we are finished.
Okay.
Okay. So thank you very much. Were you going to say something else? I heard you trying to talk.
I thought you wanted me to add a table to it.
Oh, don't worry about that. Okay. So technically, we have a firm that has an issue with harvest optimization, inconsistencies in its supply chain and its logistics chain or the movement of the fresh produce, which has to be refrigerated. Because of that, you need a cold shipping facility to be able to do that one. And the cost of doing that is variable. It's not just about poor road network. Sometimes it's also about the unpredictability of the harvest timing to make the vehicle available and then to the amount you have harvested. So sometimes you may say that you are bringing in 500 pineapples, but then you show up and you bring in even 600 and the 500, and they may have planned for 500 and then you show up with more, or you even should plan for more and then they show up with less because they themselves, their harvest is unpredictable. And the fact that in this exporting to EU has a lot of stringent measures, ability for you to trace, make the supply chain of the pineapple traceable and auditable by the European Union means that you should have trackers on almost everything, so that you can even look at from the sourcing of the pineapple to the delivery of the pineapple, and whether you are even in growing the pineapple, you are using the recommended pesticides, and at what percentage of the pesticides are you even using them? How often do you irrigate? All of these things have to be that transparent, because you are trying to communicate that you sell a particular product. So they even check on your sustainability measures in your and ethical farming practices, and then sustainable farming practices even in your logistics chain and then your operations. So these are things that Ukraine is struggling to stay up to date with, and we need to be able to give her some solutions. On the other hand, there's an untapped global local market. That means that there's a fresh food market in Ghana that is growing very well, largely informal.
Open the door. Huh?
Largely informal. People can actually also prepare the pineapple, their own drinks, fruit juices from their bedroom, and then put it on the market and start selling it. Enforcement by law enforcement companies like Stupid and Grassboard, sometimes far-fetched. They start it and it's not, maybe Accra, they may do a lot of good monitoring in Accra, but outside Accra, they may not do that much. Or there may be challenges with resources to do it adequately. And then there is also the fact that there's a new interest for the Ghanaian palate for dried fruits. Ghanaians are getting interested in dried fruits, and that may be an opportunity for them, especially for their grade B products. The products that they don't export, they have got grade A that they export, grade B that they don't export. Can they consider turning them into fruit juices for the local market and dried fruits to sell on the local market? So these are some of the things that you are contending with. So throughout the sessions, as I teach you, for example, how to analyze the external forces and internal forces, internal capabilities that they have to drive their strategy, we look at some frameworks that we can apply. We'll look at those frameworks in light of Ghana Fresh. And some of them, I'll give you some of them to go and try on your own as a take-home assignment or a take-home work to do. Now I hear Sakai is up, so I'll be setting some of the things, putting some of the materials and the content on Sakai to be able to help you. maybe over the weekend I'll do so then let you know. But apart from that, there's a Google Drive that has all the content, and there's a YouTube page that has the videos. The Google Drive also has the videos for the sessions that I've been teaching you, or I'll be teaching you. Then strategy canvas, we will get to know how to be able to develop our vision and then link it with our strategy and make the right decisions. We'll look at how to define the problem. Our critical problem that we know is harvest optimization. How do we deconstruct that problem and then develop a user-centric problem that is tied to key activities or certain response measures that we can actually measure? Then so we'll go through these things, look at how to do the measurement and prioritization of the issues that we face in organizing and the KPIs that we set to be able to achieve specific deliverables. How do we measure them? How do we execute that strategy and then govern it to make sure that it gives us the value that we are looking for? Then lastly, how do we put everything together into a comprehensive plan to guide the company? And that will bring us to linking it to the value realization I want to achieve and something that can be implemented. So by the end, we'll present all these things in the form of a board ready presentation, 10 to 20 slides for every group, and then a 2-page executive summary. You're already 47 or 48. So that means that if you are dividing yourself into 15 in a group, we are going to have about 3 groups in this class. So out of the 3 groups, we'll choose the best group to represent their class to compete with the other classes. Also, they also have their own groups at the final showdown. So that is what we will be doing. If you don't have any questions, and then let me start teaching so that we can be aligning this into our. But this is only open to the students in my class. That's this group, the Monday group and the Wednesday group. And for the Tuesday group, since they are taught by Professor, he may have his own kind of arrangement with them later when he comes back and takes over the class. Any question? If not, I will start teaching. I see a number of people who have muted themselves. Are they come to say something? Derek and Reynolds Asari. Do you want to say something?
No, sorry, sir.
Okay, can we have our first lady? Oh no, our first lady was Jennifer. So our second lady to talk, Brenda Kwashi.
Hi, Doc. Good evening. I wanted to, looking at the case, would we require any agricultural knowledge? Would that be a plus to help in the outcome that we need to produce?
Thank you very much. Let me correct something. I am Professor Boatino. When you say Dr. Boatino, there's somebody else in the business school called Dr. Boatino. You may end up confusing yourself. He's in accounting department.
Yes, Prof.
So I'm Professor Boatino. There are 2 Professor Boatins in the business school. I'm the male. The other one is a female. So
Okay.
So we kept.
Yes, Prof. Well noted.
Not to you, but it's not. I'm just telling the whole class because you're not the first person today mentioning Dr. Boatino. Okay, number 2. Do you need agricultural knowledge? You need every knowledge. In fact, not just agriculture, you need to understand logistics, you need to understand data analytics, data science, because we're giving it's like you said boardroom. So anybody represented about the legal issues, the economic issues, the social cultural issues. So I think you should think of like your group as a boardroom group and then give people positions. Who is the CEO? Who is the board chairman? Who is the marketing lead? Share the roles based on their expertise so that when you have your discussions, they can come from different perspectives to address it. You can request for more information. For example, last year, some of the students asked for data concerning this and that, patterns of certain things, but you have to be specific. And then I'll go engage my company and see whether they will give it to me. If they give it to me, fine. If they don't give it to me, I'll come back and tell you that they don't think they can share with you. It's not relevant. But at the end of the day, you can ask whatever information you ask, it will be given to you and also will be shared with. Even though it's a competition, we have to. It's like the courtroom. Whatever you find as the prosecution, you have to also make it available to the defense team. So we have to whatever you ask, I'll share the information with other groups. Whatever other groups also ask, I'll share it with your group and other groups too. So please, you could request for information based after your first meeting. I think after today's class, some of you start doing your meetings and having your, because next week I'll start asking for the groupings within this group. Which of them are the team? And you have to have a name. So maybe team Jennifer, and then team Lourdes, and team Brenda, or whatever, whichever one you want, or team Apple, team Samsung, or team China, or team America, or something like that. You have to have your own team names, and then the names of the members of the team and their index, their phone numbers and email address of index numbers, since we'll be giving them marks. Yeah. Last year, the best team did very well. They did very well, but all the teams, participating teams, got certificates, and then all the what else? All the and then the best 3 teams, they got the cup. They took a cup home and they took pictures of it. They spent some time with the challenge cup and brought it back in January. So they spent Christmas with the cups in their house. How they were rotating the cup, because there was a gold cup, there was a bronze cup, and there was a silver cup. And the cups have been returned to me. So this year we'll just before Christmas, we'll have the final showdown, and then we'll have our cups. So please take it serious. You may even invite your MD to come and see you do some good presentations. And Brenda, you invite your husband to come and see you speak to issues. Is that okay? Have I answered your question?
Yes. Yes, Doc. So the groups would have to form them on our own,
Yes,
or
madam.
you would do that assignment. Okay. We
Um,
should form them on our own. Okay. Thank you.
yes, I'm not forming the groups for you. I don't want to interfere with groups. People, but at least every group should have a good amount of females and a good amount of males. So you can't have all females go to one group. Is that okay?
Yes, Prof. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hey, there was an AJY in another class. There's another AJY here, or it's the same person? Okay, AJY. Okay, so the first thing that we'll try to do today is let me do some greetings to some of my friends. Okay, Gloria Bannon, good evening. Laurentia, good evening. Unadede. Good evening. You come back
Good
here.
evening, sir.
Yeah, come back here.
No,
Yeah.
this is actually my group.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
So Priscilla in team, Regina, Sabina, Solomon, Winnie, you are back here again. Okay, good. Rexford. Regina, I'm called you. I didn't hear your name. I didn't hear your response. Okay.
Yes,
Philip.
sir.
Okay. It's good election knows your name. Oh. People think that it's not important. It's important. It helps you. The difference between 49 and 50 is the election knowing your name. Mame Frempong. Good evening. And then
Good evening, sir.
Enoch
Yeah, good evening.
Saibu. Enoch Saibu, are you there? Eliklim.
Prof, I'm here.
Okay, then. Good.
Prof, I'm here. Good evening.
Honorable Numu. I hope you are fine.
Yes, Prof. I'm doing very well. How about you, sir?
I'm doing well. Hey, this
Good
guy.
to know, sir.
Yesterday you were here, you come back. Yeah, back here. James Samuels. Okay, thank you very much. Familiar faces. Okay, thank you very much, class. Don't worry, don't mind me. I like to engage my students. So me calling your names, not that I'm disturbing you. I'm just taking a roll call at the same time.
Hey, you almost forgot me.
Okay. Yes, I've seen that. There's somebody called iPhone. Hey, please call iPhone. iPhone, can you?
Prof, that will be changed very soon. The name is Peter Neokai Hammond. We can ignore it, please.
That's a nice Peter Neokai Hammond. Very nice name. Okay, Peter, thank you very much. So what are we doing today? Today, we want to try and understand how to analyze the firm from the business, its external environment and its internal environment. Now, we are trying to understand how companies are able to survive within the competitive environments that they find themselves. What are the forces in the environment, whether internal or external, that influence their strategy formulation? The first one is looking at the external environment. And one of the popular tools that we use is PESTEL. I know you know SWOT, but SWOT does internal and external. What SWOT does is that SWOT looks at strengths and weaknesses and then threats and opportunities. But what a SWOT is also trying to look at your strengths and weaknesses in one sense, and then the threats and opportunities in your maybe external environment. However, the PESTEL is an external comprehensive macro environment framework that expands that threats and opportunities into about 5 or 6 different forces or threats for you to, or threats or opportunity for you to look into. So the P stands for political, the E stands for economic, the S stands for sociocultural, the T stands for technological, the E stands for, the second E stands for environmental or ecological, and the L stands for legal. Some of them are codependent on each other. For example, you take a political force, it can also have an influence on the economic force and the legal force, because a political party will establish certain policies and it can affect the firm or the companies, and it can even affect the business environment or the economy, and then also affect the legal framework of the same country. So they tend to depend on each other. The same thing. For example, when President Kufuor was in power, he had an agenda that he called the Ghana ICT for Accelerated Development. That ICT for Accelerated Development made him establish things like NITA. Now, because of that, he then, the ICT for Accelerated Development document had certain implications on education, on the economy of Ghana, on so many different pillars, about 13 pillars or 15 pillars, all talking about how technology is going to leverage to change that pillar and drive, even agriculture was part of it, and drive technology as a source of accelerating our development. So if you are such a political party has an agenda, it means that there'll be some political force that will affect firms, and then there'll be technological force that will be also affect firms. So let's take the first one being the political context. The political context examines the role of governments, issues with political stability, trade policies, taxes, and government funding priorities. So if a government makes up its mind that is you're going to ensure that there is a governance is established, and then there's a peaceful environment for businesses to thrive, so they can attract foreign businesses to come in here. There is focus on stability politically, no unrest, either at the tribal level, at the regional level, or at the national level. When you have such established, you are going to have continuous development, or your projects are going to be continuously rolled out without any interruption. In that scenario, if you have road projects and they are being continuously rolled out, it's likely that if some of these roads have to influence the eastern corridor or the eastern region of Ghana and connecting it to Tema or connecting it to Accra or connecting it to Takoradi, what you have done is that you have created a better environment for a firm like GH or Ghana Fresh to be able to operate. So the political orientation of the institution of government, in terms of how they facilitate peace in the country, how they also facilitate development projects in the country, has an effect on our firms and how they take advantage of it within the country that they find themselves, living in Ghana. So, for example, a stable government allows for continued development of infrastructure, which firms like GH Fresh can benefit from, especially in terms of logistics. If the roads are bad and it's taking them more time to be able to move, you see, when you are dealing fresh products and you want to sell premium fresh drinks on the European market, it means that you have a way of refrigerating this fresh juice, keep it in storage, do overnight shipping, and deliver it onto the market for it to be sold within a particular time. Otherwise, you better go for canned drinks. But if you want to, if your value proposition is more about the fresh drinks, then means that your logistics have to be top notch to be able to make sure that there's no backlog or there's no delay, which will also affect the quality of the juice that you are going to sell on the market. Now, in an era in which a government makes up its mind that it's going to focus on establish policies to enhance specific agricultural products, for example, cocoa, offer them subsidies. That means that Ghana Fresh, if it wants to continue doing export of drinks, may have to start thinking about cocoa drink or something else, because the government's orientation is facilitating a particular agricultural product or to be marketed or to be exported to the outside the country. You are doing something else. So why don't you then diversify and have a subsidy or a subsidiary that actually looks into maybe cocoa drinks or an alternative to what you are selling in the marketplace? So government decisions will affect our young family and change fresh. Now let's step a little bit outside our case study and even look in the world. Even between America and China, there have been a war on on artificial intelligence, where America has prevented companies like Nvidia not to sell particular AI chips or high-end advanced chips that can help better processing of AI models and AI platforms to China. And China is using old versions, and they are claiming that even the old versions letting them do better. But America is investing more money into that. They have even gone to Saudi Arabia to establish partnerships in which larger scale projects like a data warehouse or kind of a server city. If I should call that a server city for OpenAI, that's the one that is behind ChatGPT, to be able to build that server farm to support the activities. Now, if this is what is going on, it means that some companies like OpenAI are taking advantage of the good political relationship that currently America have been able to brokerage with Saudi Arabia. And that because of that, other American companies are gaining those benefits. So the decisions you take as a political party or as a government can influence the forces that are at play. The next one is the economic context. Abigail, your hand is up. You can ask your question before I continue.
Yes, sir. Please, with regards to the government funding priorities, you cite a scenario that if the government increases subsidies for cocoa products, and let's say Ghana Fresh primary export, which is into pineapple products, like Ghana Fresh should consider changing from pineapple to cocoa. And here lies a case government funding priorities changes based on government, let's say, goals or government goals. So as a company, do you always have to be changing your products based on these changes that government will bring? And isn't it going to affect your customer base? Or because I believe consistency also counts. As a company, like you being consistent in one product also counts. So can you explain if doing that will really help the company? Because if you're always going to change your product based on government changes in government policies or government funding priorities, is it going to help the company?
Okay, so you answered your question yourself that it is an opportunity for potential diversification, but it doesn't mean that go and do it. In management, there's something we call strategic orientation. Strategic orientation is the ability for a firm to be able to strategically evaluate its opportunities and threats within its operating context and identify certain potential opportunities, which is the firm is willing to take advantage of and take the risk and pursue it. So when you scan your environment, you see opportunity threats. the one that you choose to respond to and align resources to that one, and you are willing to take the risk for it, become your strategic orientation. So even if I've seen something, doesn't necessarily mean that I'll go to that place. I'll take that one. It's about assessment of what is possible and what's not possible, and what is of value to you as a company, where you are going as a company. I hope you understand me. I'm not saying that every firm, when you see something, you stop. I'm trying to say that at that point in time, you have got threats, you have got opportunities. You should do your assessment and ask yourself, are you willing to deploy resources in that line and take advantage of it? Or you are going to hold and see, you're going to watch and see, and then try to absorb the cost of whatever you are losing by that government policy. So it's not, there's no one size answer that says that go and change your business strategy because of that. I'm just giving us an opportunity. That is a potential opportunity to diversify or partner with another company to do something else. Does that address your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It does. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, Eugene, I'm coming. Eugene, just give me a second. So the economic context involves factors like the interest rates, inflation, exchange rates, economic growth, and consumer disposable income. For example, you are Ghana Fresh, you are selling premium fresh fruits in the UK. Fresh fruit is being a premium product means that it will cost quite a lot even in that country. Now, for people who live to drink fresh fruits or premium drinks, some of them have disposable income and can afford it. But when there's an economic downturn in UK or Europe, for example, it means that the access to that disposable income or slack resources will be limited. And people may now look for, even health, those who are health conscious consumers, they may start looking for alternatives which are cheaper and then take advantage of it, or may even go for the fruit itself and like to do their own fruit juice at home instead of buying one that has been done already. So sometimes a weak economy can also become a threat to another companies that are in that particular economic system to be able to take advantage of opportunities. Whilst, for example, in Ghana, a Ghanaian city can enable people to take advantage of for exports because they will pay less. What happens is that when they are now doing imports and bringing products into the country, the products they are buying, they may have to buy more at a higher rate in order to ship the same product, because now you are going to buy the dollar abroad, and now you have to use to buy an item and bring them to the country, and your city is weak, so you spend more to be able to gain that same item to bring to the country. Okay. Yes, your hand was up, Eugene.
So I just had a question on the political context. I was wondering, are there instances where you can have, let's say, businesses? Are there instances where you can have businesses rather, let's say, influencing let's say government direction or policy direction? For instance, say you have in a certain political atmosphere where you have some businesses making a lot of profit in a certain industry, and then government now sees based on those outcomes they might want to invest in such areas. Let's say maybe poultry production, technology, cryptocurrencies, in areas like that. Are there instances like that? And is it something that businesses are rather, you would encourage businesses to rather focus on?
I didn't get a question. Are there instances of what?
Are there instances of businesses rather influencing policy direction? Say, for instance, you have some business.
Okay. Yeah. Companies can influence policy direction, especially if they have a political hold on the company, on the political party. So, for example, they paid a lot of money for you to come into power. When you come into power, it's kind of the thing you owe them. So you have to put friendly policies that can allow them to operate better. So that is one. Number two, there could also be advocacy from not necessarily the company, but employees in the company and that will get government attention, government to start doing something about it. For example, 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago, we started a report called the Fair Work Report that was looking at fairness on digital platforms in terms of the digital platforms like the Glovo and all the Uber, how they create a fair working environment and provide decent and they provide decent and dignified jobs to people within their context. So, for example, we started doing the research and we started ranking the firms, and they will produce a report. So we did a Fair Work report in Ghana somewhere in 2022 and in 2023 to release another one. Now, one of the arguments we did in 2023 fairly was the fact that many of the companies were carrying our funding outside the money they make and paying quite almost nothing to comparably to the drivers, and that they should change the terms of engagement, the terms of remuneration to the drivers. And we started making noise about it. And I remember I did during the stakeholder engagement, I showed government officials and I told them about a calculation. It was later, what's the name? It was later, no, in 2002, 2002, 2003, if I remember. It was later put on Ghana Web. And I was showing that if a company has over 70,000 workers, and each of the 70,000 workers is making 4,000 take home at a month, and that represents about just a percentage, maybe just a 25% of what you have made, and that is what is being paid to you. Now you can imagine that the 100% or the remaining 75%, which because of the kind of system they were operating, they were not taxing it. They were just paying, the companies were receiving their money, it was getting to the US, and they were sending it abroad. Government should open its eye and become start looking at allowing unionism in that sector, and also trying to put better working conditions and then gain the revenue. So initially, government was not taxing the rights in terms of how much you pay when you move from here to here. But I think it was early 2000, 2003, and then or 2004, I can't remember. Government came to announce in January because of so they are going to start taxing all these all data platform firms, especially those who were giving services to in the cry sharing space. By 3 months or 6 months after, Glovo quite a number of them started backing out and leaving the country. By the time the year ended, quite a number of them have left the country. Now, I'm not saying holding brief that what they do is good or not good, or we have destroyed somebody's business. What I just realized is that the advocacy we're doing in government played a very key role in government making a decision, and then making the voices of the drivers known to government was also very, very good. And it helped empower the minister to be able to pursue that agenda. Currently, in this year, they wanted to form some coalition groups within some of the rider associations through GIZ Ghana.
07
And they contacted
34.
Yeah, 34.
And they contacted us to make sure that they were able to contribute or they're creating an economy, an economic system that is fair and provide dignified jobs to the drivers. So you can make a change. Partly, you can what you pursue as your agenda could have an influence on government, and government may take action on that. So you are right in that scenario. Is that okay?
Yes, that was helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Prof.
The same way you are right in that scenario, you can also be right in a negative scenario too. When a company that is has an untoward or unethical behavior start putting pressure on company on government through whatever they have on government for government to behave in a particular, for a minister of state to behave in a particular way. Okay. So let's continue. I don't see any other hand up. Okay, thank you very much. So with the social cultural context, we have seen the rise of the ethical consumer. Somebody who wants to know that if he's drinking coffee, the coffee is from a fair working conditions environment, a fair trade, it's a fair trade, it qualifies for fair trade coffee, meaning that as fair working conditions, there are no child labor involved. People have got to respect each other in the working environment, and there's adequate support which is being given to people who are working in such conditions. So if they see child labor as an issue, somebody may not want to patronize your products anymore. Now, another thing that happens is the ethical, the organic and health-focused foods. That's also another opportunity, consumer preference that is coming up. That people want to take more non-sugary products, and they may request for that in certain meetings. I remember University of Ghana even made a statement that if university sponsors any lunch or any cocktail at the university level, you cannot drink alcohol. They should serve fruits as part of the fruit salad as part of the take-home food. And then, and lastly, we are trying to reduce achieve better health outcomes. So certain things should not be promoted within such environments. So social culture plays another this type of plays out to remind us of these kind of issues that could actually affect the today's consumer, and because of that, you the company have to be more ethical in responding to them. Okay. One other thing that could happen when in the social cultural context is the fact that when people make choices, the choice is not just about the values you have about food, but it's also about things concerning population trends. Are you creating room for women to be empowered? Even how do you deal with the female farmer? These are issues that come up. So in an agricultural value chain, they may want to realize that are women more disposed to less paying jobs in the value chain as compared to men? If that is so, then what can we do about it? Or are women rather kind of assigned the heavy duty jobs, which is kind of painstaking, and then the men tend to just take the soft jobs to do? These are things that could come up. So social cultural context plays a very key role in influencing firms and their behavior. In that, and for example, if Ghanaian consumers show a rising preference for locally packaged and non-sugary drinks, it creates an opportunity for GH Fresh to introduce a new juice and then dried fruit line so they can capture the local demand. Okay. Then you also have the technological context, the further advancements in research and development, automation, cloud computing, sensors being introduced into tracing and documenting things, and then telecommunication infrastructure. For example, a farmer could consider having a sensor assigned to its soil so that you could measure the moisture level in the soil and then trigger an action that will be taken by people who work for the farmer because of that particular assessment that they have done. So instead of just going to sit down and check and believe that the rain will come, and when the rain comes, we take certain decisions. No. Can we be able to use sensors to be able to direct the little resources of water that we have, or access to water that we have, to the right places, so that we can be able to maximize our yield instead of the water being being irrigated or directed to only to all the whole farm? Is there some particular cash crops under certain conditions that we want to try and water them and then gain from those ones? These are questions that could come up for any company. To what extent can we use drone for monitoring? in the past, you have to go to the field to monitor yourself, 1 acre to another acre. You move through it, each and every inch you try to move through it. But we are in an era that a drone in the morning in taking pictures can take pictures, go and take pictures of that farming community, and then be able to even analyze later that if you see this coloration of the plantain leaves, that means that this is happening. Whether this is ripe or not ripe, you may think that this is happening. So the technological context plays a very, very key role. I've seen, if you have heard of all of these things, that your you have a phone that you can use to control your air conditioner whilst you are even in the office or you're approaching home. You can switch it on because to some extent your phone is linked to what? An internet source. And that internet source make it become an entity in the internet space that can receive commands, can also give feedback. So that's somebody will intelligently take advantage of that and use that to help the firm or the agricultural entity far better. Greenhouse farming is there. There are so many technologies that are coming up. I recently heard of there was something we call I think a tractor app that allows you to hire tractors like you hire an Uber car to pick you up. So you are a farmer, you can go on it and book a tractor or another farming equipment or vehicle that you may not have access to it, and they will come and provide services to you and you pay. But so that's a very intelligent way of translating the concept about ride sharing into the agricultural space where resources are shared among farmers through such apps. Okay. Then you also have the environmental context. Environmental context has to do with issues of climate change, weather patterns, pollution, sustainability requirements, and then corporate responsibility pressures. So every company as of today is doing something concerning corporate social responsibility. People want to see you giving back to the society. How can you give back? How can you give back? By making sure that maybe some of your activities are more carbon free or more relevant and safer for the environment. That was something that you may want to do. But for a company like our brother here called J Fresh, you are exporting to the European Union. And doing such an export, there may be strict mandates concerning sustainable sourcing and reduce carbon footprint that you need to be able to take advantage of, or also do something shared and be able to have putting measures here in your company to contribute or reduce your emissions. So what are you doing to be able to respond to this menace? What are you doing? And when you step out, European Union may ask you, this product you are bringing here, to what extent did you go to sustainable farming practice? Where is the evidence? Can we watch a video? Can we see something that shows that this is the evidence of it? Because if you don't do that, you cannot take advantage of bringing your product to their market. It's quite different. So uncertainty, seasonal uncertainty, extreme weather events can contribute, which is due to climate change, tend to severely affect crop yields. So instead of you expecting to be able to have maybe 70 bags or whatever you need to export, you now have lesser bags. And that also you have to bring other issues into the relationship they have. You are not being able to give consistent supply of the produce. So the company may have to now look elsewhere. So environmental context play a very key role. Okay, water scarcity in Eastern region during the dry seasons requires adoption of water saving strategies, which may be factored into the overall farm operations plan. How do you store water? And how do you store it intelligently too? Now, legal context. Legal context has to do with the laws that kind of govern the country or the markets that the firm finds itself operating on. So to cover consumer protection, labor, health and safety, health and safety, and then trade compliance, competition and trade compliance. So you as a firm, compliance with EU food safety regulations especially trying to make sure your pesticides are within the limits, is something that if those standards are not met, potentially almost all your produce that you have bought can be rejected. Because they expect you to have gone through due diligence before exporting the product. Yesterday we had Avians in our class, and you're echoing this issue that now if you want to export something, they really check the product so that they are not taken by surprise. Okay. So potentially resulting in shipments being rejected, which means it leads to post-harvest loss, and then sometimes to the labor laws that is advocating for minimum wage. Some firms may not be adhering to it, and that's something that they may have to also look into. If you are a firm and then there are laws in the country and you are not adhering to them, it will not be even easy for you to operate, especially if the firm has monitoring and evaluation officers who go around. In this era that companies are choosing to be more intimate with their consumers, there's likelihood that GH to start building some relationship with its customers. And then in that scenario, as soon as you start collecting data on the customers, you need to become a data repository, or you're collecting data and storing them. You have to then sign with the Data Protection Commission and be transparent on how you do. You put what legal frameworks have you put in place to protect people's data and privacy issues, and what kind of assurance are you giving to them that their data will not be shared with other people. So we would like you to obey these legal requirements. Some of these things companies just drag the oh, I'll take care of it later. But now we have the DPC, that's the Data Protection Commission, is quite proactive. They keep on going around. They look at newspapers. People have done analysis. They keep on going around to monitor. And if you are found, they may end up taxing you, or serving you a penalty. So, and some companies have actually been closed because of that. If you Google Data Protection Commission in Ghana raids or monitoring, or you see that quite a number of them have tried to shut down companies because of that. And you don't want to be on the other side of the law. Yes, Rashid. So, Rashid, PESTEL is comprehensive, looking at all of these 6 factors in relation to the firm and this business environment. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, please. I was about to ask. I see competition in there, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Is it something along the lines of insider trading and the likes?
Anything that could be unethical competitive behavior, and then illegal behavior in terms of in the marketplace that could also affect or break a law. That could be something that you could affect the firm. So you have to look into that. Let's just give an example. You allegedly, you are 2 telcos, and to be able to gain and sustain your advantage, you buy SIM cards of the other telco and dump them. So the company that did it today, they get to find out, and they have evidence for that. It may not be good, especially if the firm did it willfully.
Yes, look, I think I now understand. Allegedly, yes. I think I now understand.
Higher coin. So, PESTEL evaluates the general environment, political, economic, and socio-cultural, technological, environmental, and then legal. In all of these things, one of the forces that have become quite prominent is environmental. Initially, in the past, we were not thinking about it, but now environmental clearance is now a must for quite a number of companies before they export, or they even they do some engagements abroad. They may ask you. They may ask you. So that is something we may look into. Now they want to even see that you are green in your sourcing. So in buying computers in your office and coming to use them, are you buying energy efficient computers? So this could be what are the characteristics of the devices you are buying? How do they plug into the sustainability agenda of the firm? When computers come to their end of life or end of service, how do you dispose of them in an ethical way and a sustainable way? Okay. The next one has to do with Porter's 5 forces. Porter's 5 forces just looks into the potential of the firm to gain and maximize its profit within the industry. So it looks at forces that play on the industry. First of all, rivalry among existing competitors. There are quite a large number of you play, and they may be competing with each other. And then the threat of new entrants. Can your product be substituted by a new entrant? And will it be partial substitution or full substitution? And then there is threat of bargaining power of buyers. How many people are buying? Are your buyers that quite kind of concentrated? And there are a few of them that control that can dictate to you who is supplying to them. Or bargaining power of suppliers. Those who supply inputs to you, and they sourcing appropriately. And are you sure that whatever you are what offensive they are giving to you is that competitive enough? They're not trying to gain the system around you or try to use other means to be able to just maximize their profit without giving you value. So these things may come up. But how do you handle them? What are them? What are these? The first one is the rivalry among existing competitors. GH Fresh export rivalry is moderate. Because if you look at it, GH Fresh is focused on quality and volume. For this export market, locally, there are only very few firms that are doing that type of export because of the amount of volume involved. So we call that one, and it's more focused about quality and then volume. So you want to sell more, but at a high price in the European Union. But when it comes to local juice markets, rivalry is very high because of the numerous players who are sometimes not even qualified as small competitors who have a low product differentiation, but have got a very flexible payments or low cost. So they make it easy for people to just sign up for it. Now, the reason why we argue that local juice market is the rivalry is often high is because of the fact that, think about it, even your old schoolmates, some of them are even doing sobolo and selling. And some of them, if you go and do any final analysis of it, it is something they just start selling and making money. There are no formal even a strategy in trying to regularize such a business. So high rivalry forces firms to compete primarily on price, and then they start cutting their profit margins. For our GH Fresh, if you are going to enter into local juice market, you need to be able to leverage on the strengths you have in the European Union and maybe have products that are a little bit different from the current products on our market. But it's also at the cost of delivering the product should not end up defeating the idea of the product itself. If it's too expensive, you cannot be able to deploy it. You can only just let people look at it, but you cannot deploy it. Okay. Now, to be able to predict whether what type of rivalry is happening within the context and what you should do about it, every good analytical and any good data analyst will try to track the competitor pricing and promotion activity and market share for for his company over time so that they can produce data-driven competitive insights to inform management. We just don't want you to tell us that we should buy this or we should go into this or we should take this particular decision. It has to be supported by data. The same way the threat of new entrants has to do with how easy is it for firms to enter into the same business? How easy is it for firms to enter into the same business? So we say that a high threat of new entrants lowers industry profitability. If it's so easy for people to just come in, then the profitability will be constrained. But if it's the barriers of entries are high, it means that those who are there are few, and they would like to be able to even increase their value, gain more before they allow others to come in. So for GH Fresh, the large pineapple farming has high entry barriers. The reason is because you need a land, you need processing equipment, even machines to be able to run such a business, and you may not have it. But if you look at the dried fruit market, that is quite low. And easily anybody can be able to also enter into such, but you can differentiate yourself with your packaging and your service offerings, making yours a little bit different. Okay. So we advise that anybody who is looking at the threat of new entrants, you always have to think about the fact that these people that are bringing the new products, at what price are they going to sell them to compete with mine? At what price are they going to sell them compete with mine? Okay. Bargaining power of buyers, which measures the extent to which customers can force down prices, like somebody said earlier, and demand higher quality and service. Okay. So when the buyer power is high, then means that buyers purchase a large volume, switching costs are low, or the product is standardized. Now, if buyers have got stronger power, that means that they are few, and they can dictate to you what they will buy, what they will use or will not use. And then because of the fact that you are looking for value, you as a person, if your buyers are few, you just keep quiet to them and then sell to them. Whatever they tell you to do, GH Fresh is going to the same thing. About only 2 companies or 3 companies are buying from them in the US, in the UK. So if one person says you buy, it's a cost. Costs are high. If one person says you buy, costs are high. You have to have inventory that you have to find a way of letting go without getting spoiled. But when you have there's oversubscription for you yourself, then you know that you have got opportunity as a large demand for your products, and then you can be able to send quite more offering to them, like export more offering to them. But if they're not doing that much, then you can't do much with the exports. So companies who are large and they are into the agri sector, they always have to think about what they are going to do in terms of their exports. Now, what is even really strange is that you have got TikTokers and people who are sitting on social media in Amazon, so in the UK, the US, and they come and pick products from here, do some partnership with people, they ship it to them, they start putting the pictures on TikTok and other places and start selling, trying to bypassing all laws and stuff. We bypass a lot of business bureaucracy, even between countries. Get the product to the UK, they start selling the product. Okay. Abigail, you have an example of that.
Oh, so please, I wanted to ask that in relation with a threat of new entrants, as a company, what measures can you put in place or what can you do to prevent like high new entrants?
Okay, so the first thing that comes in mind is the sector itself having high barriers of entry. For example, if the sector is large-scale farming, it already has high barriers of high barrier entry, like the high barriers for entry. Anybody coming into cost you more to come in. If you are building data centers, it will be the same thing. But if the nature of the product is like this Uber business that we are looking into, then it is not. Because the Uber business that you're looking into, all I have to do is to get a car and give and then make it available for Uber to accept the car assess the car, accept the rider, and the rider is now driving for me. So what you are seeing in such a scenario now in Ghana, they go abroad, go and buy most of the electric cars and come and give it to Ghanaians to do work and pay. And they are disrupting the current business model where, like in the US, where it was like more people, workers having their own car, they close work and they want to help, and then they just hop in at the driver place and then start making their car available for ride sharing. So Ghana is like, we're not even doing the ride sharing properly. We're not even sharing the ride. We are actually having our account. We are even buying cars to actually do the. It's like it's more of a digital taxi service is what we are running, not a shared service. The shared service means that I have a car already. I'm sharing that service with other people so that I can be able to make some money on the side and also provide convenience for them. But this is not that one. This is now a business model that's quite different. Now you're asking that what can I do to prevent them from coming? You can't do much. The only thing you can do is this other one. Prevent them from substituting you. You see, prevent them from letting people switch from your product to the other ones. So what kind of strategic relationships can you build with existing firms that you have? So much that they don't want to even consider entertaining the other next person. Okay. Please, you understand it? The lady who has the question.
Yes, sir, I do. Thank you.
Please, you don't understand. This can be very complex. So sometimes people don't understand it. So if you don't understand something, raise your hand. We can check on more examples to help you understand it. Bargaining power. Okay. Hannah, please just give me a second. Bargaining power of suppliers. This measures the ability of resource providers, those who give you inputs, your inbound logistics. They bring in your seeds. They bring in your fertilizer. They bring in sometimes even labor to you. Now what happens is that if they tend to raise their prices to you, the problem you're going to have is that you have to go and bargain with them, because if the supplier changes the price dynamics, it will affect your operations, and you pass on it onto the marketing team, and the marketing team will pass it on onto the logistics team, and then it will all go back to the consumer. So if your resource providers can raise prices or reduce the quality of goods and services they supply, then their bargaining power is high. And it happens because the suppliers are few. You cannot switch away from them. They know your route. They know how to get to you and deliver your products to you. So leaving them is even costly for you. Now, an example is in Ghana Fresh. In terms of logistics, we need to be able to do overnight delivery or overnight shipping. So when we do the fresh juice, we have to move from eastern region straight to the harbor. The harbor also has to be, without delay, bag it, and then or if so it goes to Aviance at the airport. Sorry, and within the next day it is shipped by airlines to the UK. That's very fast like that. Now, it means that over the time, the person who has been picking your produce from Eastern region and sending it to the airport, now it says, and they are refrigerating the items so before they send it there. So that means that they have become like more of a specialized logistic partner, and they will be moving your products from one place to the other. And they also know the routes. If you don't manage them carefully, and you have a problem with them, the challenge that you have is that you may not be able to fulfill other orders because of the break in your relationship with the current supplier. And in an era that sometimes the community and logistics are unpredictable, it may even make it more costly for you. So I will put in measures to track the concentration of the suppliers, and then to also make sure that they are delivering value. I also assess the cost of me leaving one provider to another provider. Now, the threat of new substitute, new products or services means that if there are alternative products in the market, are your consumers likely to jump ship? If they jump ship, do you understand why they are will possibly jump ship? Maybe they are expecting a type of answer, or they are looking for a type of benefit. You are not offering that benefit. So what do they do? Okay. Yes, Rashid, go ahead. And then Hannah, please get your question ready.
Prof, I wanted to go back to point 4, bargaining power of suppliers.
Yes, please. You can always
That's,
go back.
yes. So you were talking about managing your suppliers. Just to maybe delve on it, can we look at the different tiers of supply when it comes to their value chain? Could you maybe try and understand or do some form of traceability to the different tiers of supply, or what does it mean for you if you are considering taking over that supply chain and then dominating it yourself, if you feel they may sabotage you in the long run?
Okay, I think what you have said, you have answered yourself. But strategically, it is advisable for you to take over, do some backward integration and take over. I would advise you that do that. Especially, it's like a car company going behind to then buy the car tires, buy the car company, the tire company, so that it can be able to produce particular car tires for the new car they have made. Especially the electric cars. The cars have the batteries beneath. Then it makes the cars very heavy. The tires that they use cannot be just the normal tires. Otherwise, they wear out very fast. So then you go back and buy the car company and produce special tires to fit the type of cars that you are producing. So you go back and buy the tire. I hope you understand me. Because they were supplying tires. Good. Now,
thank you very much.
Yes. Oh, but I've not even finished your question. Okay. Okay. Then you also asked a question, something else. Yes. Should you put in traceability? Yes, put in traceability. Why? Yesterday I was told about a firm that I knew when I was doing my PhD, and the fact that they were exporting to UK, and then and I experienced their product when I was collecting data for my PhD. The firm was called Myrock. It was, I think, the free zone company, and we're doing into different types of fish, turning into tuna and that kind of starcase type, and then they sell it in Sainsbury's in UK and other UK shops. So I used to go to Tesco and then Sainsbury, and I'll find the products there, and I was so happy about that. I was even always taking pictures of them to show that when I was in Ghana, I ate their product. I've come here, I've also seen their product there. Good. The student who talked to me told me that his uncle or his father worked as one of the key guys there, as forgotten the position he mentioned. He mentioned in class that the company had to shut down because of the same supply chain inefficiencies. The fish that they found out the fish that they were using for their tuna, the European Union found out that it was contaminated with, is it iodine or something like that, and that the people have been using that to fish for some time. So it was not wholesome to sell it on the US or the UK market. Where else will it be wholesome? Ghana? No. So in such a scenario like what you just said, why wouldn't you rather go and own the farm, the fish farm, and that you have, and then be able to be assured of the quality of what you are gaining? Ghanaian first find it very difficult to be consistent in their quality delivery, and that becomes a very big constraint for other firms. Okay. So there was a hand up with the hand. That hand also asked the question before you go ahead. Okay. So Potter's forces modified forces model determines the long-term profitability. Yes, I think I saw your hand in team. Okay. And then attractiveness of the industry. The firm should design strategies to weaken these forces. And by increasing their differentiation to reduce the rivalry and buyer power. Those are the two forces that are going to affect you a lot. Rivalry and buyer power. How do you address them? Increase your differentiation. So your product can stand out and be different from the others. Okay. Priscilla, go ahead. Priscilla. Mrs. Team. We can't hear you. I think
I think there's something wrong with your mic.
Yeah, she can type it. Yes, Eugene, go ahead.
Yes, Prof, can you please explain what increasing differentiation means?
Do you know what differentiation is?
It depends on the context.
Not the mathematics differentiation.
Well, I think it's referring to variations and all of that, but I'm trying to understand how it fits in the second point.
So if we are on campus and we are all barbers, and we are actually serving the community, and we do barbering. But because the students are more than us, and we are only just about 4 or 5 barbers, the challenge we have is that the bargaining power of the buyer, that's the students, are higher than ours. So we need to be able to attract them and retain them. Do you understand me?
Yes.
So what can I do to differentiate myself from the other one? It can be positioning or location of my firm, the incentives I give you when you come into when you come to my barbering salon. Some of them will treat you with much respect. They treat you, say this is their office, the place is neat. When you come there, you can get some coffee to drink, you can get some drink to drink and stuff. Unless I've turned their place to a political environment, that's where they discuss MPP, NDC, and all those kind of stuff. So some people also like that kind of discussions. So they'll go to those kind of places. I hope you understand me. Then there are things concerning things concerning maybe the cost of the services. Somebody will say that he has a flat fee, whether you're a child or a boy or something, and somebody may have differentiation in terms of what you are doing. If you are just doing a hairstyle like Lauren Gbagbo's hairstyle, it's this amount. If you are doing Rollins hairstyle, it's this amount. If you are doing Ford hairstyle, it's this amount. So that's the person and how he prices items.
Okay, Prof. Hello, Prof.
So yes, please. So the differentiation means that I will add on certain things that will make mine different from the other and look superior. Yeah, than the other one.
Thank you.
Good. I remember when I went to Uganda. That's about 13 years ago. I went to cut my hair there. When you finish cutting your hair, if you don't take care, you don't know whether you should come back or you don't come back again. You know this thing that we do in Ghana, that when that time it was not much in Ghana. You cut your hair, then they use a towel to massage and to clean the hair for you. Do you realize it?
Yes.
And then they wash it, and sometimes they add some cream which everybody's using, and by the time if it flies are coming on your hair, I don't know what they have seen that one. So there's a Ugandan. I wanted to go to a barber, and then one of my friends told me he's taking me to a place. And the way the experience is, when I finish, I may not be able to talk. I will just be asking myself whether I should come back and take my hair. When you go there, they give you a drink, like a soft drink or non-alcoholic wine for you to drink. They give you a place to sit nicely. A gentleman will come and escort you to help you put on the gown. They would ask you the style you want, and then they would take the hair. And after the hair has been trimmed, a lady will come rather with a towel, not a man. And the lady will come and massage the hair, wash it for you. I was surprised. And then they have something they do to the forehead with their fingers. Hmm.
So you really enjoyed?
Oh, we are sitting there. I didn't know. The guy didn't tell me all these things were going to happen. They do that all to you. You know, Ghana is a male that does it. So, and they do it very fast. They'll tap your face. They'll do that. They'll do with a cream. Then they'll do with some facial stuff. And then they'll give you that kind of polish they give to the people who go to TV stations on your face for the powder. So your face become very smooth and nicely like that to match it and stuff. And then before
at that point, you're contemplating your life choices.
by the time you go to the next place and then you're going to pay, you pay anything they tell you to pay. Then you go and pay and finish. So I asked him a question, why didn't he tell me that this was going to happen? He said that the service is special. That's what they do. They are special people who do it. So you go to the thing in stages. So nobody is talking to you. After that, they'll hand you over to the next person. After that, they'll hand you over to the cashier. And you pay for it and say, are you okay? Do you enjoy being here? Yes. And then you look out and you go out. So he asked me, I was there for a month. He asked me whether I'll go there or not. I said, no, I won't go. I'll go back to the US with my hair. Because I realized that if you're not very careful, you will start enjoying a service that will go more, you start loving the place too much and you are best passing through. But I knew why the service is very, very good. I give you drinks, I give you biscuits and all kinds of stuff. It's like they want you to really stay there. And they are not discussing, and this guy's called the football. They have there's good music. The ambience is very good, carpeted floor. Hey, I'm asking myself, how do you do hair and it's on the carpet and they don't have a problem? Hoover will come and hoover everything nicely and stuff. So it's more of concierge service. Very, very nice one. So if I'm meanwhile the US one, I'll go to a black barber on university campus. And when you go to that place, the guy will come and talk about you. I know Ghanaians, if you talk about Ghana, and Ghanaians come and their friends, Nigerians, sometimes they don't like to pay. You tell your story, play long stories. Oh, our brothers are going to spoil the place already. So as they're taking your head, you're trying to defend your race. So it's very interesting. Anyway, but that's it. So that's what we call proper differentiation. So they differentiate the service. You yourself, you like to come there in all the time. Okay, so I've seen a hand up. Priscilla, your hand is still up, or you typed your question?
Well, I was typing it, but then if you can hear me, I can go ahead with it. So,
I can hear you now.
Yeah. We have looked at an example for profit-generating organization, how they can benefit from the Potter's 5 forces. Can we briefly look at a non-profit organization? If they want to take these forces, how can they utilize it to their best of?
So what type of non-profit?
I mean, one that is into childcare specifically. An orphanage for that matter.
Orphanage. But you know that Porters for Air Forces is for about industry competition. So, and the objective is for you to make profit. But I'll still answer your question. I just want you to know that it's a profit orientation. It has a profit orientation agenda. But I know you can still use it for service delivery. That's the question I actually. Is that not what you're saying?
Yes, please. Yes. Looking at
a
non-for-profit that has other, orphanages around, how can one leverage so that, it's always seen as the number one organization for childcare?
Okay. Okay, then. Thank you. Okay. Porters 5 forces for a non-profit for childcare, like an orphanage. I was writing your points down. And then how it will apply in Ghana. Okay. Because first of all, let's know that in Ghana, there is a mix of childcare facilities. There are those which are like, I don't know what I've heard about the child rescue homes, that they try to take in children who are running away from home or there are social issues because the government want to place them there. Then there's family-based care, NGOs who try to also support families and then reintegrate children back into families. And then there are the typical orphanage. Okay. But one thing that you mentioned, you didn't mention, which is true, is that all of them are competing for donor funding. Is that not true?
Exactly.
Yes, they're competing for talent in terms of those who work there, the heart of the type of mother care personalities. It's not every person who is a nurse who has a motherly heart, or a person who is a social worker who has a motherly heart. And then partnerships with income companies who will see that place as their social responsibility. Is that not true? Even churches, they adopt some of them like that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the impact they look at is the outcomes. Some of them even have integrate some schooling into it so that the children can get some education, even go and write SS and BC, the basic, or get the local, the primary school education as a basic, as a minimum. Either that one or the crèche as a minimum, or Montessori education, whatever. So I'm taking it one by one with you. The first one was the rivalry among existing organizations. So the question is, who are our rivals? Is it other orphanages in the community, children's home in the community, foster care, NGOs, faith-based churches who are into those kind of stuff, and then social enterprises who may be giving such services. Then they are got the government programs who also offer certain things, and they have got their own homes that they have adopted. So I've got a mixture of government-supported homes, faith-based homes, or orphanages, and then sometimes you even got expatriate homes. People who have adopted a place that he's an American and has adopted maybe Kwesi Mensah Children's Home Adodowa as the one that he would be funding. So you have got this, all of them having different type of funding support. Now, when you have a concentration, the questions are within your locality, are you having a concentration of this type of people? And then who are they also getting support from? Are they all going to the same corporate organization, the same community? For example, I am in Dodowa and I'm looking at the firms in Adenta and all those kind of stuff. Are the firms that are supporting the orphanages, are they all coming from the same locality? Yeah. And then to what extent are they active on social media? Because they're also using social media to try traffic from themselves. So when I'm able to create my donor list similarities between the companies, and I'm also able to look at whether people are even seeing me as a point of place for volunteering from volunteers coming from abroad, and I also look at who are getting media attention, I can check and see that is there much differentiation in my model that I can do so that I can stand out better than the others. The only difficulty is that it's all a measure of how many children you have in your space, and then lastly, how much resources you have based on the support. If you don't have a resource, it's very difficult. But if you have got some resource, if you don't have resource, then you have to start by creating a strong social media presence to be, and then show that there's need for attention, and also show what the little you are doing to support. Because right now there's a lot of people who are opening this GoFundMe cases. So they open a GoFundMe page, and then they can point out that this and this and this, they don't get much support as compared to others from government, and so they would like to see if the Ghanaians in the diaspora can support them, or people that Ghanaians who want to go back. There's something that we call a project that we developed called Back to My Village. Back to My Village program. So you can even start a back to my village, back to my community orphanage program, where people who came from Medina and even though they didn't go to the orphanage, but they are living abroad and studies. How can I go and give back to my village, back to my community? And what will you use that back to my? It can even do as a festival where they come around, have some time, because nowadays quite some nowadays have been using their birthdays to come and celebrate it, so they can let them know they can come and spend your birthday there and do something to the homes and stuff. And others are also using the Christian schools. So the Christian schools have adopted some homes in the Volta region and stuff, and they go back. Because one my child's school like this, they have adopted one. They go and give them old school uniform, size books, clothes, shoes, and stuff at the beginning of every term, so that the last term's clothes they can bring it to you. So, what kind of partnerships can you build with schools? Yeah. Then I've also seen that in being able to show that differentiate themselves from others, because now there are quite a number of new people coming in, and most of them, the only thing barriers they may have is the registration and the licensing, and then having the appropriate safeguarding policies. So you have to check yourself. If you're not well registered, register yourself better, and then establish your safeguarding policies to protect children, your gender policies to be able to protect, and then and other kind of policies to be able to show that there is some kind of adequate support being given to them, or there are some stringent measures in looking after the children. Because there have been cases in which some of child abuse and this have been occurring in such environments. So people don't want to be seen that I'm EcoBank and I'm funding or supporting an orphanage that has come into the media as having such an issue. I won't give money to you again. So you yourself have to prepare yourself for funding, meaning that you have to establish all those policies and adhere to them adequately. But because of the limited funding, many of them are struggling to be able to do the right thing to add to other stuff. But the teachers are frustrated, they are not happy, and because of that, they don't treat the children very, very well. Well, one person, I remember there was a case in which donors came to give a school some good thing, to give them suitcases of clothes and stuff. And teachers took it from the school, the children, and went to sell it as a Obroni outside in order to get money to come and feed the same children. So if we come closer to come and help, and we realize that your structures are not well formalized, and then you don't have the policy support, people may not come back the second time. So to be able to get support, you yourself have to prepare yourself. Otherwise, the new entrants that come and they do the right thing, everybody go to them. They have the social media pages. They have got some ambassadors who are even fronting for them in those pages. They are also doing what is right. They are even hosting their own Christmas carols and inviting companies to come and spend their own day. So they will prepare their own Christmas carols festival, and you as a company can come and spend your time there with your employees, which will count towards your social responsibility. So if you're having your Christmas carol on your own place, or they'll come and perform at your place, you have a choir, they say, oh, we are available to come and perform at your place. So they are being proactive and being and stepping out to do something more quite interesting. But all within the funding that you have. So sometimes people say that you may focus on lowering your barriers. Can you do low capital, small community-based projects in your town? Yeah, that can generate some crowdfunding opportunities for you, so people can bring you more money. Lastly, I also realized people who are engaging themselves into some kind of craft labor. Not that they are doing child labor or abuse. What they're trying to do is to engage their children into little things that they can do and package and sell, like bead making, doing beads and necklaces and wristbands and all kinds of stuff that they can sell. I know some time ago they were doing a batik and then tie and dye, which was fun to do for children and stuff. But the idea was to do them in such a way that they can sell the cloth and make some money. So you have to use low capital projects, community-based projects, to be able to draw in more funding into your place. Okay. So I may not have all the answers to you, but it's important that if you have got high rivalry, specialize and show some of your initiatives to the community and online, so that others can draw in some good support. Number two, make sure that you are complying with the legal frameworks in the community, in the country, so that you are not found to be on the other side. And then you can establish certain types of MOUs with certain firms to be able to co-celebrate certain events with them, Easter, Christmas, and stuff. Then have a focus of trying to find the right resources to attract the right and staff and retain them. That's retaining them is not as easy as is said. Then lastly, sometimes the donor funding, you may need to have a partner who has got a donor experience and can help you put proper documentation together to access such funding. Yeah. Because all the funding agencies also have an angle, they have a perspective they are looking into. Can you be able to satisfy what they are looking for? Okay. That's a little that I can see for now, but is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe you can
Thank you too.
Okay, but later on, maybe I'll show you another thing you can do.
Okay, sure.
Okay. To do brainstorming. Okay, so let's continue. The next thing that we can look at is the strategic group mapping. Strategic group mapping is a very good way of positioning yourself in the industry to know who are your rivals, what alternatives exist for you, and what are the untapped opportunities in the market. Who are your rivals? What opportunities exist for you, and what are the untapped opportunities in the market? Now, how does it do that? It does that by giving you a kind of mapping framework. You have the y-axis and the x-axis. So on the y-axis, you can have your price. On the x-axis, you have got the breadth of options, starting that you have wider options or small options to wider options. And then you have the small price to the high price. So when we say something as low cost, high breadth or high breadth of options, it means that the strategy has been deployed in such a way that it is being able to target a large volume of people, having a wide coverage or wide breadth, but the cost of it, of the item, is at the low level. It's a low cost item. So in business, it means that you are offering an inexpensive, whatever you're offering is inexpensive to produce or deliver because of the level of standardization that exists. And number two, you can be able to deliver it to a wide range of audience or of needs or markets or customers than rather than focusing on a narrow niche. Now, I want to use a diagram to explain it very well. So look at the food, let's look at the food industry sector or the food industry segment. So look at it here. In Ghana and even abroad, Burger King is a company that offers some menu variety, but it's not that much. Just it's sometimes predictable. There are just few items on the menu. As compared to Subway, that allows you to do your own sandwich. So they have the sandwich you can choose. They have even got name sandwich. In part of the US, you can go there, you can see maybe sandwich of Morgan Freeman Taco Delight. That's one sandwich. Then you may see another one by Ben Affleck, something, especially the ones that they are passed through. So the combination they choose is now become a named sandwich. And they're able to still sell and make money. Good. Now, Subway gives you the option. So there's some jalapenos, there is some cabbage, there is some other different types of food that you're asked to choose and combine the way you want to combine that. Well, Burger King doesn't give you so many options. You have to just choose from the menu and then it will be done for you. So they have standardized their own. They give little room for promising people any other thing that they cannot be able to deliver. But if you look at it, they are in the same competitive environment as Shake Shack. Shake Shack is also have low price have high price, but they have very little. Their menu doesn't span that much, so we call them low cost, high cost, but low breadth. Means that they don't have much breadth or much variety in them, and they may be focusing on a niche area. Not everybody is what they are target, and niche area is what they are target. The cheese factory on the other hand has a large or many variety or options for others to pick up. And then they also come at a high breadth and high cost. That's what the cheap countries do. Subway has low cost but high variety or many variety. So if you understand this, you can see that there are quite a number of permutations. If you want to, your distinct competitive clusters are 4. If you are low cost and you are offering few items, you are like Burger King. If you are low cost and you are offering many items, you are like Subway. If you are high cost and you are offering few items for them to choose from, and then you are Shake Shack. If you are high cost and many items, you are Cheese Factory. So it highlights the strategic gap. For example, there is limited competition in the medium price and high variety space, which could be an opportunity for new entrants or repositioning. So it's saying that there is a gap in the medium price. Where's medium price? Medium price is here. This middle here. And then what's high, medium price, and then high variety space. So medium price and high variety. So somewhere here. Okay. Good. So Subway has a low price and high variety. Burger King low price and limited variety, and then Shake Shack higher price limited variety. Now, how does it affect you as a company? Now, you have to look at it in this particular way. You are using the strategic gaps to be able to make choices. If you're a new entrant entering the market, you are able to put the fall into in those particular categories. What then you can do is that as a new entrant, you may target the mid-price and high-variety segment, offering diverse menu options at moderate prices to customers who want more choices than Burger King, but at the prices that are not as high as the cheesecake. So that's it. Similarly, an existing brand like Subway can explore premium versions and then at a high price, or premium versions at a lower price. And then like Shake Shack, no, premium versions at a higher price. Yes, premium versions at a higher price, like Shake Shack is doing, while still maintaining its wide variety. So they will try to come to a place where they challenge, they will give options like Shake Shack, or they will consider Shake Shack as one of the things to be responded to, or to mimic, or to see them as a competitor that they have to try and do something to have a better market space or market value than them. What would they be able to do about that? Now, in my little response to my friend Ghana Fresh, if you plot yourself, who is your closest rival? Blue Skies. Because that's a premium drink. They're also going to Europe. Number 2, if you are going to do something to Blue Skies, what will you do? You need to collect the right data concerning their competitive analysis and then see where you can differentiate yourself from Blue Skies. You may be better off either focusing on a low-cost, high-volume product, which may be from your B exports, like the fresh juice, and compete rather with the local sobolo drinks. And because you are an international brand, and you may know how to do proper packaging, and you know how to do proper marketing, and you know you can have some slack resources, which you can be able to do much more engagements and promotional activities and activations. You better off having a group B product that is not as premium as the group A that you are selling in maybe to the European Union. You rather focus on the group B that you can sell to the local market and then make some good money out of them. Good. So if you go for the grade A, that means that you can still increase your quality, but and then do a low volume. Only a few products for selected people who have actually ordered them and they are ready for that. But it's advisable looking at the cost of exports and increasingly all the time. Maybe you may need to look at grade B product for the local market and use that one to create a new value offering in the market and generate revenue for yourself. Okay. The other gaps that you have not yet addressed is that none of these three, no company, I don't think Blue Skies currently does any dried food for people to buy, and you can consider doing that as Change Fresh. So one thing that the strategic group mapping will do is that it will let you understand who are the people who are closer to you in terms of your competition. And then you also understand yourself that are they competing with you by price or volume or both? If they are competing with you by price, ask yourself that what is the volume? Are they doing a high volume or they are doing a low volume, which is for a niche, as a niche product? And even if they are doing a low volume, what makes them stronger in the low volume than you? Can you do something better than them? So the strategic maps, I don't know whether the lady with the orphanage, you can consider mapping and see where you are. Are you an orphanage that is doing a premium orphanage, doing a low volume, so high cost or high value, but low volume? You just stick to about 10 children or 20 children at a time. So, but you are giving them high value in terms of the environment that the people are nurtured in. Or you are doing high volume, low value. And then that one is very serious. You start going to their washrooms, is broken, their windows are torn apart, so many sad occurrences. Okay. I'm not saying answer now, but I'm just telling you. Yeah. Now, another one way of looking at your internal strength and evaluating it is by looking at the activities that you prefer or you offer on the marketplace to offer a product to the consumer. Companies tend to go through 9 activities generically, and the 9 activities, 4 of them are support activities, and 5 of them are primary activities. The primary activities means that those are those directly involved in creating the product for the firm and delivering the product. Then the support activities are the ones that sustain the primary activities. So paying workers is HR, and that one is seen as a support activity. ICT is supposed to support all the units. Procurement will procure for all the units. Firm infrastructure for all the units. But when we come to actual work on the farm, operations will matter more. Inbound logistics will help me get my produce and then how much I'll buy for them. Then I'll go to operations, plant my plantation, and then wait for my plantation to grow by watering and going through all those kind of stuff. Then my outbound logistics, marketing and sales and service are all about going straight to the consumer and delivering the product to the person. Okay. So what does it mean? In the primary inbound logistics, what does Ghana Fresh need to do? Ghana Fresh will be receiving inputs like fertilizer, water, and seedlings. What do they need to do? Now, the question I'm asking about what they need to do is because, according to Michael Porter, this framework is all about the key activities that will generate value. If I find a way of doing these activities through either technology or through any policy or whatever it is, to be able to reduce the cost of deploying any of these activities, I'll be able to increase my margins and pass the margins on to the consumer. Okay. So if it's my inbound, what can I do on my inbound to maximize my value that I can pass on to the customer in terms of savings? First of all, I would rather because I'm going to the European Union, I would like to have an inventory tracking system. That will not just track my internal inventory, can also track what is being given at to the aggregator or other people in the marketplace. Number two, in terms of my soil that I plant my products on, because I want to be consistent, I want the water levels in to be at the optimum level so that I don't end up having irrigation issues that the plants get too dry and the produce gets spoiled because they didn't get the optimum temperature we're looking for. Okay. So what do? I'll put sensors into my soil so I can measure my moisture levels and be sending information to me. Okay. The same thing with operations. Operations when I'm actually turning the inputs into a final product, the planting itself, the crop maintenance, the selective harvesting, and the packing. What will I do? When I plant, I will need a drone-based crop health monitoring system. And I can also give an artificial intelligence intelligent irrigation system. I can use the drone monitoring to be able to look at the health of the products of my agricultural products and to what extent it travels and the boundaries for it. And then I can then use some of the information I get from post-harvest data to be able to look at the quality levels of my products and also to be able to make sure that I have been able to efficiently allocate labor to support the activities such as selective harvesting, packing, packaging. Good. Now, in terms of urban logistics, how do I move it to the consumer? I'm moving products that are largely fresh, and I want them to get to the US or the UK with an optimum at an optimum freshness that will let people like the product, and the shelf life can be a little bit longer. That means that I have to find a way of putting them into a cold chain sensor fridge that can be able to give me information as the things is being moved. Now, it helps me to establish quality assurance. It helps me to also start thinking about how do I optimize my transportation, whether through fuel costs, whether through adequate transparency in the travel time or the transit time, and then also making sure that the employees who are working for me are committed to the service, because someone can go and park the bar somewhere and just relax and not continue anymore. Then marketing and sales. How do I segment my customers, identify them, look at the target price I would like to give to them, and then be able to position my product as much as possible in a way that can serve the potential consumer and also give me value. So consumers are important, but you are also selling a product to them. Okay, so which consumer do you want to sell to and what do you want to sell to them? Then the service, maintaining the value proposition, value post-sale, handling quality rejections, customer feedback, things that are not good. And with products like this that are moved from the country to the UK and stuff, sometimes we evaluating the product and checking that it's not gone bad, is in its optimum quality level is very, very important. Otherwise, you have a lot of rejections in the potential from the potential buyers, like the Walmart, the Asda's, the big companies who may buy from my fresh foods. They will be checking all these things. If any of them fails, it will affect my ability to even to be able to sell back to the European market. Yesterday, when Aviance was here talking to us, to one of the students, they mentioned that they do a lot of checks in the products that you are supposed to bring them, whether fresh products or non-fresh products. For fresh product, the lot of assessment they do is quite thorough. Well, if they think the product gets to the country and is returned, they would have, the court would not be is returned. A sanction may be placed on the shipping company that they didn't do due diligence and advise the consumer. So that becomes the one thing that you have to think about. Then you should also put a complaint system or and an assurance system in terms of resolution. So that when somebody has a problem, he knows who to talk to. A feedback loop for continuous quality improvement may be necessary. Then, in terms of your infrastructure, are you using the latest infrastructure to support the process? If not, what are you putting in place to get the right firm infrastructure to support accounting, to support quality planning, to support procurement, support risk management, and to be able to make sure that at the end of the day, the firm infrastructure is adequate to support all the activities that the firm is going to try to carry out. Otherwise, we have to go and borrow some of them, and that's a different issue. So this particular small document here is just guiding us to be able to analyze the value that we can create through the Porter's five forces model. But there is actually one which is more for the business model, not just looking at the forces. That one is asking you questions. We call the business model canvas. I've seen your hand up. I'm coming, please. The business model canvas. That one asks you question more of how to create, deliver, and capture value for the firm. Not necessarily looking at the threats that are coming to the firm, like the five forces will do and the opportunities. But this one is looking more into how the organization will create value, how to deliver the value, and how to capture value. So the BMC is a blueprint that describes how organizations do so. The first one is the customer segment. Who are you serving? You have to define it. Are there categories of those who are serving? Somebody said something like that earlier. Then the European for the grade A products, the local consumers for the grade B products. Value proposition. What value do you have to deliver? The ones go to grade A are premium quality traceable pineapples. There's enough data for you to track where it was made and the conditions in which it was made. Okay. So can we trace enough information for us to trace that particular product you are putting in the marketplace and even the value you are creating for them? Okay. And what data is it using? The soil health, the harvest data, the cooling chain, and then consistent supply chain reliability. That means that the people in the supply chain are committed to you and they're going to help you deliver all the time. But that means that it helps you to also assure consumers on what they can expect. Then the channels. How do we reach the customer segments? What are we doing to reach them? Those who are abroad, we are using refrigerated shipping containers to move the product from our depots to them. And those who are local producers and retail partners, we're thinking about leveraging the e-commerce store to sell our products. Okay. Yes, Brenda, I've seen your hand up. I thought somebody was going, another person was going to join you, but go ahead. Oh, Brenda is not talking. Okay. Brenda, are you coming to talk?
I'm talking. Can you hear me?
We are not hearing you. Nisha, we're not hearing you.
Okay, sorry about that. So, my question is on the Avian scenario, in terms of quality control and checks, does it primarily sit with the company that is exporting or it sits with the shipping company?
Both.
Or both?
Both. But to enter the EU market is the shipping company. So, for example, yesterday they showed us that the pineapple companies they are dealing with, one of them, and I didn't even know that they will be in the class. One of them will tell you that he's bringing 500 pineapples. And you come and they show up with 501, 502, 510. Now with the airlines, they have actually booked space and all the weight. So if you add any increase it by any grammage, you have to pay for that one. And when you go back to your company and trying to let them understand that you are increasing the cost for you for moving this product, you have to pay this extra dollars, and they start complaining and all kinds of stuff.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay, good. So other questions that are in the model are customer relationships, revenue streams, key resources, and key activities. There are actually about 9 of them. Then the key partnerships and the cost structure. All of these things are things that you are supposed to make decisions on. For example, the cost structure, you're thinking about your labor costs, your fertilizer inputs, your IT infrastructure, your data storage costs. You have to think about these things to be able to make sure that when you are determining or deploying or designing a strategy, you know that you have got the finance, the support, internal resources or budget to be able to run it out. Otherwise, you can't run it. You have a new innovative concept, but you cannot implement it because you don't have the funds to implement. So this business model canvas is something that quite a number of companies use, this tool. And usually you see that the first 2 columns and the other one is left empty, the decision they will take. So you ask yourself, for example, the orphanage, what is your value proposition for the orphanage? What value do you want to deliver to these children? Now you, the customer, your customer is about 3. One, the customer for the, who are you serving? One, you are serving the children. Number 2, you are serving family members, families who tend to see the children as people they have adopted or an extension of their family. They are also serving legal institutions who tend to see these children, your unit as a place that if there are they receive some funding and support, especially in cash, they can in kind, they can bring some to you. Okay. They also see you as the one see you as the one who can also give hope to the children in terms of continuing their lifestyle and growing, even growing in that scenario. So there's a lot that you'll be seen for. The question is, how are you going to reach these customers? What can you offer to them? How do you interact with them? And then how do you create, what do you call value? And how do you create that value? How do you capture that value? And how do you even measure that value? But because you are an NGO, some of the few that it will be better for the business model canvas to be an NGO, maybe for more of an NGO version to be made available, which is very easy to develop. That can actually move away too much of the price sensitivity and the issues to deal with cost to more of one that is more practical and less focused on cost for a firm like you to apply to your company. But the business model canvas is a very good one. I remember when I became an HOD, somebody told me I should fill one to be able to define what I want to achieve as a head of department in the business school. Okay. Please. Your hand is Iraq Tiako. Iraq, go ahead. Oh, you are typing your question. Okay, we are not hearing from her, so let's continue. Okay.
Sir, please, my question has been answered. Thank you very much.
Hey, well, this one is prophetical. What was your question?
Prof, I have a follow-up, please.
Okay, I'm coming. There's somebody
Okay.
that I left her question. Hannah, please, I beg you, ask your question. I think I just realized that I forgot to call you back. But I told her, give me a second. Hannah, Nadede,
Yes, sir. Yes,
your
Prof.
your question.
Oh, sir, you asked for the strategy that can help the customer. I think Abigail asked the question. I thought it was a question you were asking us to answer. So I wanted to give an example of a KYC improvement which can help on that particular aspect. But I noticed that it was not a question when you continue.
But you can share your KYC improvement strategy.
Okay, so what I had in mind, hopefully may apply to. So you were saying when I think she asked about the competition, in case the market was broad and other people are also doing the same thing, how you can differentiate yourself from the people who are coming into the market. So, for instance, instead of maybe waiting and then strategizing something that you propose to your customers, maybe you can go to them and take the ideas from them. What do they prefer based on the services you are rendering to them? What do they think it will make them happy or make them continue patronizing you or taking you in as their clients? So that when they give those ideas from different angles, it can help you to strategize what their interests are, and then you build upon that to get the market value for your company.
Okay. You see, that is very good for profit company. But for what Brenda was talking about concerning an NGO like an orphanage, you don't have a clear company to see as your customer. Your first customer technically is the children that you are responding to. The second one may be the ministry or faith-based organization that tend to patronize your product, patronize your service in coming to support that or trying to acknowledge that you are doing a good job and they want to just bless you with some support. Now, because of the nature of that relationship, if you get up and just knock at some church's door that you are an orphanage, come and help us, you are an orphanage, come and help us, so that it may put them off and they will not come and help you at all. Because some of them think there should be something they can do anonymously or out of free will.
Okay, so for that one too, I had a suggestion in mind. I see in Ghana, especially that you hear of these orphanages. I don't know whether it's a specific thing, only during Christmas that you hear a lot of them come out. Some of them you don't even know, but they all come out during Christmas. So for you having this NGO like an orphanage, instead of waiting till December or this festive season before, like you said, that some of them have bands, they can do other things that can help. You can rather come out on the days where the peak of orphanages coming out is low. So that one, you be the unique one coming out to do whatever it is that you have to showcase. That you can come out and go to different functions and programs. If it's singing and other things, you don't wait for when everybody's out, and then you also come out to come and show the skill that maybe your children have, or propose whatever strategy you have. So it should be almost like a monthly thing, or if you have a schedule, something a target that you have every month or every 2 months, something you do with your children, so that before Christmas will come, you would have taken over the market, or people would have known you enough to want to help you. It will be easier because people give out things throughout the year, not only Christmas. Maybe somebody has something and the person will keep it and waiting for Christmas to come before they will give it out. Meanwhile, if you go out and they know you, it could easily come to you before December, where they need to even divide it and give to different orphanages. So I think that one too can help if we can spread it through the year instead of waiting for Christmas.
That's a very good idea. You get to them before others get to them, and you're at the top of their mind. That's a very good one. Okay. I've seen about 3 hands up, all trying to help and diverse. We are on the last part, the assignment. So I know I'm entertaining the lessons. Benjamin Gumashi, Jifa Gumashi's brother.
Yeah, hello, sir. I just wanted to just make a comment or ask a question about the initial diagram after the Porter's 5 theory. I wanted to find out if it's related, you can relate it to BCG's metrics.
You want to make sure that whether you can do what? I
wanted to find out if it's related to the BCG's metrics.
And what is the BCG metric for your friends to know what it is?
The BCG metrics is it's also like I'm finding hard to explain it, but it's also in the diagram that's force shaped where we have the cash cow, the star, the dog, and then the question mark. So the cash cow is something like the premium product where you have high market share, and then there's also demand for the product. Yeah, so basically, I just wanted to find out if it's the same, if it's related.
No, it's not. It's the other one is for strategic grouping. BCG matrix which we quote. I'm not very sure, but I think it's part of the things we'll be discussing. Because I remember last semester we discussed in one of the sessions. It looks at market growth rate and then market share. So you can have a high market growth rate. That means that you are expanding, the market is expanding, the opportunities for you to take advantage from. Then you have a low or market growth rate. That means that either the place is mature or is declining. That's on the y-axis. On the x-axis, you are going to have market share. Then you are going to be looking at one high market share, whether you are the leader, and then the low market share, whether you are a small competitor.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So you mentioned something like there is a cow and stuff. I know somebody may be asking what I do. So when you do the combinations class, you end up start having, I want to have a certain category. So for example, when we say somebody is a star, he has a high growth rate and has a high share. So their products are either taking the large market share in the fast growing market, and then they usually require heavy investment, and they have a very strong potential of sustainability, of being sustained as a business. So the strategy that people like to do is that they would like to maintain their leadership. So the high growth and high share, like MTN does. Everything that MTN is deploying, they want to be seen as the leader. Even if they are doing adverts, they try to do it in a superior way. If they are doing a festival, they try to do it in a superior way. Then you also have the cash cow. They are in the low growth, high share. The place is mature or is declining, but they have a high share in that market. So that's the cash cow. Now, that means that they are established product with a dominant market share in the mature markets. The market is very mature, or it may start declining, and then they are the dominant system. The dominant market share. Now, so there's a steady and strong, because the market share is dominant, they have a steady flow of income. People like that, because they think that the market will be declining in the future, they will be cashing in their profits from the dominant product, and they will use it to start new opportunities for themselves to protect them. So they will milk the profit to go and fund something that can make them a star and take leadership, or go and find something that has got question, something that is struggling, really struggling. I hope you understand me. Then I'm in class, eh? Sorry, I was telling
Yes, bro.
Somebody was calling me and I was telling him I was in class. Okay. Then you have a question mark. In fact, it's my boss, my MD. Yes. Question mark. The question mark, the guys, okay, let's go to the dog first. The dog will come before a question mark. So the dogs are low growth, low share. Weak product is struggling in a slow market. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, Charlie, this one, then we have to cut our losses, let it go, or let's sell it to somebody else. Like the football players, sometimes a player becomes a low growth and a low share market person. Let's just cut our losses and sell him let him go to Fenerbahce and go and play with them for some time, or go and play with another team for some time, and so that we get some of our money that we invested in buying. So they go and put you there, diversify you, or just continue working with you and put you in that. Chelsea like doing that a lot. Okay, take you to some other team and let you go and work in that, and you go there, you go and shine. And then they still come back. The guy again, they come and they won't come and take you back. But if they bring you there, you can't connect very well, so you can't shine there. So it happens that way. But the guys who know football understand what I'm talking about. So low growth, low share. Cut our losses and let's see what we can get out of it. Then there is this question mark. We are in a high growth market, but we have low share. So what do we do? Why don't we introduce a new product in this high growth market and then invest wisely or partner with certain people in true diversification in order to be able to become a star so that we don't fail in that market. So that market that we are not doing well, like let's say you are Coca-Cola, the water place, you are not doing well. You bring Dasani, it's not working very well. You bring other products, not working very well. And they see the local product are doing better. So what you do? Let me sell this thing to somebody else as a Vortic or something like that. Let me just sell it off or give it to somebody or partner with somebody or let another person even sell it in another brand name, but it's still me behind it and see whether I can be able to become a star with that product. So sometimes you have to take that, be willing to do that as a company. Then the dog. Okay, I talked about the dog earlier. The dog, one we are cutting our losses. Okay. So if we look at the NGO field, because now Brenda bought the NGO field, so we are using her own. Like an early childhood care center in Accra, the market growth is high. If that early childhood has high market share, that one can be seen as a star, and then be thinking about expanding itself and seeking national coverage. Quite a number of them exist. There was one that celebrated 20 years recently. It's called forgotten their name. It's not Legon. They even have a branch on campus. Forgotten their name. So they are like a Montessori that have done very well. They have been there for 20 years. They are now expanding to have different versions all over the place. Then let's think about a vocational training center for the youth. That one is not growing very fast. The market, there's no market growth for that one. But it's a need. Government likes putting money into that area because there's a very big need there. Vocational training is needed for the youth. So if you do well, you can have a very high market share. Now that's why we want to sustain it because of the need they play. Even donors like it. They want to put money into it. So it becomes a cash cow. You can then use the profit to fund open new versions of it in other places. Yeah, and then try to grow its market share. Even in Kumasi, go open one in Kumasi, go and open it different places because there is a need for it. And because of that, you can easily have a branch of it all over the country. Then you come to adult care home. Now, that one is something that is growing very well in the US, growing very well in the UK. But Ghana, that thing, people have not been able to figure it out well. This adult home care that you see, when you are seen culturally to go carry your father and go and put it in the home, people will get angry with you. Even family members will get angry with you. Uncles and things say, why didn't you bring your grandpa to me and let me look after him? But you know the best service you could have given to grandpa, because you are now doing this 9 to 9 job, you don't have time for grandma. And no kind of stuff. Grandma too needs adequate attention so that when she doesn't fall down again and it will affect her hip. So you want to take her to an adult care home, a premium one in Ghana. But they are talking about it, and because of that, 7 of you here, Krapo, have even rejoined your child, your parents from that place. So most of the adult care homes are phasing out, and or they are being forced to merge with some community partners to make the thing run. So it becomes a center for the community rather than the center for adult care home. That is like a dog. It doesn't look like you have a future. Yeah, but it's something that we need. We really need it. Looking at the kind of jobs all of us are doing now. Look at 9 p.m. I'm teaching. if my father was just by my side, how much time can I give to my father? Then the family member who decides to look after the grandmother, nobody wants to contribute and go give it to him. You think the person is collecting your money. So your younger brother, your younger sister who wants to do that job, you don't want to also do it. You now, you don't want to look after grandpa. You now, you don't want to contribute for the looking after grandpa. What should we do with you? Then you have the question mark. Orphanages that want to be high tech, have digital center within themselves, start having some new things in there. They even have an IT center there, even from the crèche level. So that one, there are not many of such. So the market share is very low. But there is an increasing need for sophisticated orphanages that has some swag and style. And that makes you feel like good that you really want to. When you go there, you look at the place, every child has his bed and everything. When you want to give, you really want to know that it's going to a good cause. There's an increasing need for that. And we are, instead of some of the churches being challenged to do that, they are now opening secondary universities and all this kind of stuff. So that market too has become very, very, it's challenging. It's a question mark. So most of the people who are doing it out of as a business, and they pilot it. If it works, then they take the time and evaluate and invest carefully. So you must have people like you who are working in corporate Ghana. After some time, you go and open such sophisticated orphanages and run it. But it used to be something that we are expecting the faith-based organization should do. Rather now they are rather supporting. They don't open one from scratch. They rather go and support somebody's own. So it's kind of a mixture now, and that's where we have a question mark. Have I now explained the BCG for you very well?
Yes, Prof.
Okay. The guy who asked the question, he's not even saying thanking me or anything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, then. Thank you very much. Yes, there were a number of hands were up, and as I was talking, it was going down. I don't know whether I was answering that question or not. So, Sebastian, go ahead.
All right, Prof. Yeah. Please, my question is on the differentiation bit. So I know that when companies want to differentiate, the expectation is that it should help them get a large market share. But sometimes based on the either the industry or the product they are offering, sometimes differentiation doesn't give the actual the result that is expected. So my question is, are there some other indicators that can let a company know that probably differentiation is not the way to go, or that it will not always yield the result? Because I think in in um, in our bid to differentiate, there is some kind of cost that will also go into it. So that's just my question. Are there some indicators that can guide?
That's a very good question. So you're asking that when does differentiation in companies matter and when is it not necessary, if I'm right?
Yes, Prof.
Okay. So looking at where we came from, I would say number one, differentiation will matter when I have a highly competitive and mature market. And then many of the firms are offering the similar products, and I want to stand out. So MTN is currently standing out through network quality, relative network quality. Let me not go and say something somebody can beat me to that. Relative network quality, and then Momo services like what we have here. Their Momo services is unparalleled compared to all the other Momo services. So they have done well with that one. So for a mature market, highly competitive one, and they are offering similar products, it's a need for you to differentiate, to stand out. Now, in an era that customers are valuing variety and image, it happens in the entertainment sector, it happens in the fashion sector, hospitality, education. Buyers become more concerned about things like what their brand identity is, what their design is, what the experience they will give you. So, for example, while Legon is taking more people and doing well in terms of being the premier public university, private institutions, some of them are offering smaller classes, adding international exchange programs to their own, and making their offerings for business education more attractive, and they become a substitute to that of the business school. So I'm talking about my business school here. So you are seeing that the private institutions are doing a little bit extra, offering a smaller class. In fact, some private schools that even when you come in as executives like this, you are paired with a teaching assistant. Assignments that you're supposed to do, they can help you work on it and then take you through. They're supposed to even give you personal tutoring if you need something like that. Why? They want to make it easy for working students or students who are involved in in terms of their time, limited time to do a program, can be also be able to enjoy the program, gain the knowledge, but they are not exiting because they couldn't finish an assignment. So all these people they provide these supporting measures to support them. So that variety is what they are selling. Then price competition, sometimes differentiation will also matter when you compete by prices, it will erode your profit. So if you keep on going low, you lose money. So rather, why don't I premium my product and still, instead of joining the race to the bottom? Remember, okay, you're not the class I told. When I was working in Uganda in around 2012, there was an interesting scenario in which one morning we woke up and one of the telcos, I think Zain, had reduced their product and they were doing making noise about it. That how low can you go? And they had brought it to about 2 shilling. Is it 2 shilling? That the average in the town was like per call was around 7 or 8 shillings. So 7-8 shillings. And they had brought it to around 3-2 shillings. And how low can you go? Before the end of the day, MTN went lower than 2, went to around 1 or something like that. And then said, can you join us or something like that? By the next 2 days, nobody told Zen to go back to the 7. They went straight back to the 7 instead of racing down to the bottom. Oh, please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, bro.
Hey,
Yes,
but Zoom is telling me that I am not connected to the internet.
Yes, the network is bad.
Okay. Sorry. So MTN asked that can you ask a question. Zen had to go and change the price and came back to the 7. And by the end of the week, everybody was at its normal level. So the race to the bottom is not a good idea. You have to sometimes keep your premium and diversify. Like cocoa producer branding his chocolates as organic product and then trying to sell that organic nature. Their cocoa. You know, Ghana's cocoa is one of the tasty cocoas in the world. So when you used to do chocolate, it's very nice and very healthy. So you rather focus on that one than try to say that you are going to compete with the Cadbury rich milk one. Now, sometimes technology can also help differentiate your product and give you something like an edge over others. So, for example, I have a fintech, and then when you are coming to use my payment gateway, I have added another functionality. Instead of just sending the product, the product to you can just like what's the name SPA Pay can allow you to do. Instead of just making payments for your utilities, I can let you use it to create your own funding and collect funding towards maybe an activity as an old school. And so I add other functionality for community gathering on my same platform. You can use it for this. You can use it for collecting fees or collecting funeral funeral contributions and all kinds of. So an easy way, you can just click 2 buttons and then you can send the link to people and they will pay. Such functionality I'm adding to it, and I can give you the statistics of how many I bought it to and all kinds of stuff, and what they paid, what the contributions are, what's the average contribution. All these things are gives more value to you. So I'm differentiating in terms of my value offering. Instead of just giving you Momo to Momo, and then you just send money to somebody. I'm giving you a service that is a solution to what you are going through. I hope you understand me. Good. But when is it not necessary? When the customers don't care about anything than just price. Like water sachet, like pure water. Pure water, if you differentiate too much, people just want to drink water. The price is almost the same. The price, we go and try and sell pure water in rubber bag, 10 cedis. People will slap you. Instead of, they don't mind you. Pure water, or is the rubber that is making us sell for 10 cedis? So if you put in so much effort to differentiate the rubber, they will not mind you. But if the bottle product is different, so if you are doing water sachet, you have to be careful. And sometimes, yesterday we were arguing on the fact that people have been differentiating wachi by price. You can buy 100 cedis, 150 cedis wachi somewhere in East Legon, and it doesn't taste good at all. The 30 cedis, the 40 or 50 cedis wachi has everything in it. A little bit gari, a little bit macaroni, a little bit wele, a little bit this, and it tastes better. You enjoy it. Then you go and buy this 50 Ghana cedis wachi. They don't even add wele to it, and it doesn't taste well, and it tastes bad, and you don't want to go for it to go. And they're still selling it. And what they are using to sell it because you want to sit in a restaurant environment and eat the wachi, and not queue on the roadside and buy, but it doesn't taste good. So differentiation is not necessary when you're in a commodity market that people price affordability and access. And then when you compete on cost efficiency and skill, it's more critical. Like you get more people to buy than rather than branding and features. Then when demand also, sometimes there are some products that demand exceeds supply. If a company when a company operates in a market in which there are few suppliers or monopolistic power, there is still little need to differentiate, because technically, can you ever thought about Ghana Water differentiating? What would they differentiate for? They are the only supplier. So we can complain and complain and complain, but they are just sitting down looking at us. We can only get a regulator like the PRUC to go and put them into to run after them, or go for the government, or go for the minister. And the minister go and put pressure to them. But if you put pressure on Ghana Water, what pressure you give? You as an individual, what can you do to them? Nothing. He's the only one. He can even say that you have made up our mind. The water that is coming to your community, we'll wait next year, then we'll do it for you. Then you're in trouble. Now, sometimes where there are standards and the market is very well regulated, and the standard ensure there's uniform quality, it is very difficult to say that differentiation will add so much. Something like cement, and that you have been saying, electricity. Because of the way the uniformity is in providing the service, if you really want to differentiate by cement, if you are a cement seller, if you want to differentiate, then maybe you are giving a variant of cement that can do something like the rapid curing type that you can use for specific things that can do something superior than others cannot do. But if the chemical composition is the same, what Gasem will give and then what Jata will give may not be different. The only thing that they will be different maybe operational efficiency. We will deliver to you. We will come and help supervise your project. Those little things that they will do for you is what makes it stand out better. And you can fix the price with us. For if you're building a building project and you'll be buying from us alone, we can sign a contract. We fix the price for 7 months for you. So that one is more about the service delivery that they're actually trying to sell to you, not necessarily the product itself that has been differentiated, but the service delivery is what has been differentiated. So the guy who asked the question, The question, the issue is that what are you differentiating to? What are you differentiating? Because sometimes you differentiate something, that thing doesn't matter. It's a service delivery. There's sometimes the cost of differentiating outweighs the benefit, so it doesn't need. Like I mentioned about an orphanage with luxury facilities in it a little bit and stuff. But to tell you the truth, even though that will make Ghanaians happy, the donor agency will think that you are using their money for something else. And they are more clear about impact. Where are the children rich? So you give all this luxury facility and you're not educating the children. You're not giving them some opportunities in life. You're not training, giving them a skill. They'll not be happy about it. If you are giving those level of luxury facilities and treating, I know that I work with UNESCO, so I know that giving them luxury facilities or dignifying facility, that you are treating them as a person, decent, something that is dignifiable, and make them feel dignified. And they even make the workers in the orphanage dignified. If I add the training facilities and training opportunities to that, I've done an excellent job. Okay. So what are you differentiating to is another question. Thank you very much for the guy who asked that question.
Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Okay. So can we continue? Are we continuing? Okay. Good. There was a hand that was up. Two hands came up.
Prof, it was mine.
Okay, please ask your question.
Looking where he's going.
Okay. We've looked at quite a number of models today. My question is, hello.
Where you are going?
Don't worry.
Nana Kwame, can you wait? Okay. So my question is, what would be the key consideration when a business is trying to do this strategy? So what would be the key consideration in deciding on which framework to go with to, ascertain the feedback that they would need in that strategy?
And that's why I give you this assignment. So if it is about
Okay.
an environment, let's take this one. Supposing GH Fresh wants to go to UAE. UAE is a market is growing. They have a high per capita income. They like and they value high quality imported goods, even from China and even Africa here, because the African markets there. But anything that you are bringing there, they argue and they emphasize that what is the logistical reliability, because you are traveling a distance to bring the thing to us, and there's heat in our country. Will your product survive? Especially for fresh juice. What are you going to do about it? So in such a scenario, if your company wants to make a decision, if it's about analyzing the company's environment, then you can combine both the PESTEL and the 5 forces into a table like this. Pick the PESTEL, one PESTEL, and actually, what factor do you want to talk about? Political. Will it be an opportunity or threat to you? UAE import tariffs, is it an opportunity or threat to the company? It is kind of one. I would say that UAE is a country that has high political stability. That is one. That means that the laws are going to be relatively stable for me too. They're not going to be rapid changes. Number two, but because you are talking about food that I'm importing, for food, global issues can cause new safety requirements can come. So there could be new tariffs that are related to food that could emerge. So I'll treat this one as a threat for me, but I'll say it's low to moderate because I cannot predict it very now, but I'll keep an eye on it. What about threat of substitutes, which is coming from Potter's 5 forces? I would say it's a high threat because I am doing the traveling and taking the product there and heat. So there's a possibility of premium fruit juices which are more resistant to distance and heat being available and even being produced locally in that place. Hence, Ghana Fresh will have to compete with these local products or alternatives in terms of taste and quality. Do you understand me? The lady who was asking the question.
Yes, yes, Prof.
So I'm giving you as an individual. This is not a group work, as individuals. Now that Sakai is come, I'll put it there. So you put your index number and your name and everything. And then look at 3 other variables that you may choose, either from any of them, that you think can influence and affect Ghana Fresh in going to UAE. You can go and read more about UAE and fresh juices and stuff, and then use it to inform your decision, right? So there are other forces. There's the economic force, there is the legal, there is a technological, there is social-cultural. In fact, social-cultural may play a role because the Arabs like a particular type of taste. And yesterday, like I was explaining to them that look at this, what the Arabs like doing. Arabs like to take competition head on. So let's take the perfume market. The perfume market was a high cost, low volume market globally. So they have high-end perfume coming from Paris and other parts of the US and other countries, which was low volume, like specific. It was premium in terms of and the low volume because it was not for the masses. So you have got these particular perfumes that are from Club de Noir, Versace, Celine Dion even had their own perfume, and then so many of them. If you go to Accra Mall, there's a whole big perfume shop that sells this one. But recently, the ladies will tell you, and some of the men too will tell you, there's this low cost, high volume perfumes from Asia. And they are also premium in terms of the flavor, the scents, and then the fragrance. And they are diverse. But the price is good. And some of them have got are long last, they are resistant to heat, and they're resistant to heat and even travel. You can sweat and go through them, and they can work very, very well. But they are coming from Asian community, and their packaging is also excellent. Some of them are more innovative in packaging than the foreign ones. About the price, 180 Ghana cedis, 200, 300. So I will buy. I like buying perfumes. I was buying the American type of perfume, Paris type of perfumes for my wife. Most every year I buy quite a lot of them, and I realized that the price was just going $300, $800, $900, $1,000. And sometimes you can really just buy 1 or 2 because you are paying about $800 for it. That $800 can buy like 8 or 10 of the Asian ones, and they have got variety in them and for different events, and they smell good, and they are long lasting like Eau perfume, whilst the other ones are the other perfumes are quite expensive than the other toilets in the Paris-based ones. So they have been able to give the world a very good alternative. And I believe that some people here patronize the ones I'm talking about. Is that not true? Or the ladies, you deny the truth?
Very much. I even bought one yesterday.
So I'm just trying to point out that, and that one is heat friendly, and if you even travel with them and they are packaged well, it's also very good. Some of the other ones, the ones from Antonio Banderas and all the other ones that we buy from the US and stuff. Some of them, small bottle, and you are paying that much for it, and you have a very big bottle, 100 ml, 150 ml in the Asian ones, and you are getting value for money. And sometimes even when you show up in a place, people don't even know whether it's Asian or Paris or American or Canadian. You are just smelling good. That's what matters. So please, you can use this framework, which I'll put on the class platform. I'll also share on the Google Drive and later on Sakai by maybe close of day tomorrow for you to also have it. So all this is an individual work. And later I will bring it to class and let's discuss. Then later I'll show you how to submit it on Sakai. So fill it yourself and bring it. This is not a group work, it's an individual work. I've done 2 for you. So go and do 3. I'm not saying do 7. If you want to do more, fair enough. But these are some of the things that I may ask you to do in the examination. That's some practice. These are kind of things to be practicing. So every time we'll take some of the tools and we'll use it to practice. Now, the other question you asked, which is very good, is that now that if I've done this and I want to develop a strategy, I'll now go for the business model canvas and use that one to go through my choices. I've seen my threats, I've seen my opportunities. What do I want to decide? So who will I offer business to? I'll use the business model canvas to do that one. So if you're asking the question, which of them will I use? I'll do my analysis of my environment and my industry, and I'll take the business model canvas to make my decisions. Does it solve your question?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Hey, this is the first class has engaged me tonight in the you see, you are really enjoying. In fact, one thing I like about this class is that you are very collected. Collected meaning that you are not looking for the fancy stuff. You are relaxed, you are asking questions, you are not in a hurry, you want to really understand. And you are not all over the place. Asking questions are relatable to your own industries and your own companies, which is very different from the different. Those of you who sat in the Monday class and sat in this class, you see the difference. And if you sat in yesterday's class and the Tuesday class, you see there's a big difference. This class is like we are in a comfortable lead. We are in our own space. We understand what we are doing. What can Prof add knowledge can he add to us so that we can apply it better? It's that that's what I can see in this class. And there's a level of maturity here. So this is a high volume, a high a high mature market. Thank you very, very much. You have made me, you see, if those of you who were here, you see, I'm very relaxed in talking to you, this group, because they are pushing me to teach and take my time and teach. Like, Prof, we are here for you. Just chat with us. Just have your way. Yeah, and it's making it more engaging. And they ask the question respectfully too. So very, very good. And it's being led by the ladies more than the men, which is very interesting too. Well done. Well done. Well done. So thank you very much. Hey for everybody. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Maybe this star class indeed. Yes. A class that has made me even add a model I didn't teach the other class. The BCG matrix. Yes. Okay. Yeah, this is MTN and Glow. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Would probably be how Apple moved from using Intel chips in MacBooks. Okay, yeah. And to manufacturing their own silicon chips, which is now doing better on the market. Yeah. Okay. More resources. Okay. Why did Zen return? Why did they return to the food? They couldn't stay at that price because they were trying to use that one to move customers to their side. Say, how low will you go? And then the others went lower, and then they had to come back again to their price. Yeah. But I think Zen is not even across Africa that much anymore because many of their market share has been sold to other companies, or been merged with other companies now. Anyway, let me take the last question from Rashid, and then I'll call it a day.
Sorry, Professor. I was just asking, how do you recommend we split ourselves into groups? Because, well, I don't know how we are working online more than anything for now. So how do you recommend we split ourselves into the groups?
That's a very difficult question for me to answer for your group. Okay, so what I saw that people doing is that the group leaders appointed themselves, and then they put the value proposition that this is a group, we are called Team This. If you want to join us, join this link. And when it was about 50 of them, they stopped receiving more people. That's all. So they put on the group that people should choose which of them they want to join. So, for example, Abigail, Edusel can create a group and put it out there, and then make a suggestion why you should join her group. You have Brenda, too, very active, can also make a group and put it there. And then you yourself, you can also do one and put it there. And then people see which of them they want to join.
Okay, how many groups are you expecting from this
We are
within this group? How many?
we are 47 or 48. We want just only 3 groups.
No, sorry, I
Prof,
think I didn't
our
answer the
number
question.
went up to about 60 plus 70.
Hey, are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
We are currently 58.
I'm here.
Yeah,
Well,
but we were at a
Well,
point
well, all of them are
70.
not in group 3. Some are from other groups who joined today.
Yes. So how, like, what I'm trying to say, so for group 3 alone, how many groups do you want from this group?
if you are 47, then you should be 3. If you are less than if you are less than 40, then it can be just be 2 groups.
Okay.
I can't tell. So why don't you just start with 3 groups? Let people join. But
I think we
please,
have a group three. We have a group 3 group. So I think we can put it there and then start from there. In that group, I think we are about 40 members in that group.
let me get it right. You have a group 3 group. Good.
Yes.
Then that group
No,
3.
I haven't joined that group, please.
Yes. So there's a group 3 group. So I think the link will just be shared again.
Can you do so? So I'll join.
Can you share the link here so that people can click on it, copy it or something like that, so people can have it? Because I think they
Yeah,
want. Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be swell. That would be best.
Yes. I think this weekend you have a face-to-face class. That would be one way you can also meet together and then do your divisions, get to know each other and then do your divisions. Because from next week, some of their works will be group based. So when you are going to do them, you'll be doing it on behalf of your company, not on behalf of yourself as an individual. So it's advisable that between now till you meet with me on Thursday, you know your groups, you know your
Yes.
because I'll ask you to present your group, the name of the group, the composition of the group, who is what. Some of them you are 15, but the position may be only 10 positions or 8 positions. The rest may be employees. I hope you understand me. But this is a competition.
Yes.
It's a competition for marks and it's a competition for a cap. So for the bragging rights, please put in the effort and do a good job in terms of sharing yourself. So that then you start strategizing. Now you know that you are going to do a 10 to 20 boardroom level slides, giving a 12-month strategy to solve the problem that they are having. And then leveraging many of the things I will teach you. Hopefully by next week, Friday, Thursday, when you have the book will be ready in the bookshop. I'm chasing up and down to make sure that the book is ready for people to have a copy. And I'm hoping that to be done. But all the same, I'll put the question to online in the Dropbox. Okay, let me put the something here right now. It's on the page, but I think I should just make sure that it's also accessible to all of you again here. There is I'll add the video. If you go to Google and you search for Richard Watson Studios, you can get the videos to your class. Always, I write the group number by it. It's tomorrow, today's, and I put it there too. Then there is good. There is a second. There's a Google Drive that I'm putting all the materials there. Although I put some of them in Sakai too. The materials, the videos are also part of it. So I pasted the Google Drive link here too. So those of you who want to copy it and go straight to Google Drive is here. I just pasted it, and I think Benjamin also pasted something. So you can look at the Google Drive link over here. Okay. But thank you very much, class. Thank you very, very much. I've learned a lot myself and explaining things to you guys. Thank you very much. So we call it a day. Okay, thank you. So